Hey everybody, welcome back for some Legacy. So here we are with a Lurrus of the Dream Den deck, which should not be a surprise if you've been paying attention to Legacy. Lurrus is dominating this format. I don't expect Lurrus to be legal much longer. We're about 3 weeks into the Lurrus format at this point, and that's all you see on social media. You even have Mark Rosewater tweeting like, how can we design sets better? Kind of questions dedicated at the Eternal community. So I expect something to be done about Lurrus pretty soon. So I figured I should record a league with it while it's still legal for the historical record. I hate to miss the boat on getting to play something broken while it was legal. So that said, Lurrus Delver has been crushing since day one. Like the day you could play Lurrus on Magic Online, Edgar Magalhaes went like 15-0 or something over 3 leagues with Lurrus Delver. And that's the level 0 of the metagame. So a bunch of other stuff has happened. There's like Lurrus Miracles, there's Zerda Bomberman, there's Snowco with or without Yorion. And this is the one I want to play today. One of the classic ways to a format evolves when something is busted and dominating is that you build the same deck, but just like half a tick slower, just like slightly bigger. So if you go back in time and look at the like original Miracle Grow deck with Quarian Dryad, the way that Quarian Dryad was unseated in that metagame back in the late 90s was that a more mid-range version was built to combat the aggro version. When Treasure Cruise was legal, there was Blue-Red Delver was level 0, but then there was a Jeskai Stoneblade deck that went just a little bit bigger. So that's how a lot of these formats have been cracked in the past, and this deck is Grixis. It has Dreadhorde Arcanist, Young Pyromancer, Bolt, Cantrips, like all the things you expect out of Grixis Delver, but instead of Delver, it has Baleful Strix and Kolaghan's Command. So Baleful Strix is one of the best weapons against the card Delver of Secrets, because it's a 2-for-1 if it resolves, guaranteed, and it's a pretty unexciting thing to have to blow a counterspell on. So this is a powerful weapon against Delver. If you watched my 4-color Yorion video, the power of Strixes, we just slayed Delver all day with our Strixes. And the hot new tech in this is of One Mind. If you control a human and a non-human creature, this is a 1-mana draw 2, which can get pretty crazy. And Young Pyromancer happens to be a human that creates non-humans. So you trigger this once, your of One Minds are online. So that's pretty cool. It might be janky, it might be cute, but this deck has been doing well, and smart people designed it, and I can see where the power level of this would be. And worst case scenario, this is a blue card you can pitch to your 6 forces. So let's go check this out. Alright, so we lost the die roll. The companion reveal stage of the game is after the die roll, but before you see your opening 7. Let's see what friend our... Ooh, a Lutri deck. That's going to be fun. Lutri states that... Oh, I have to mulligan this hand. Does not cast any spells. I'll keep this. Even though it's not super exciting. So Lutri, the deck building requirement is every card is different, or every non-land card is different. So we're in for a wild ride here. Okay, let's ponder. I was like, if they have turn 1 Delver in a Lutri deck. So it'll be interesting how they decided to go with this. This probably has to be a mid-range or control deck. You probably can't count on aggression to pay off in a deck like this. Alright, so I'm going to bobble myself because knowing what I'm doing is more important than knowing what they're doing, because they have so many different cards. And I'm going to wait until my end step to do it. I want them to give me a little more information. thing in the ice. Alright, so I have 3 fatal pushes in my deck. Let's take a look now, see what I'm interested in. Of One Mind. That is not helpful right now. So I could Force of Will this thing in the ice, but I don't think I want to. I will fetch, though. Guess I'll get Volcanic Island, because I have Bolt here. I can fetch the black if I find a need for it. Alright, so Fatal Push, probably my best draw here. Young Pyromancer is not bad, though. So I could cast Young Pyromancer, Force of Will, their answer, and then Bolt Bolt, the thing in the ice, and then I'm miles ahead. It's dangerous. I could also just Bolt Bolt the thing in the ice right now while they're tapped out with Force of Will up. I think I want to get this Young Pyromancer into play. So they can only have 1 Force of Will, 1 Spell Pierce, like all of those things. So it's hard to predict what they might have. Like I would probably be playing this very differently if they were a deck that just had 4 Force, 4 Days. Oh, they had the Days, Jesus. Alright. So their 1 of Days is spent. Do I Force of Will this? Or do I fight over? Alright. Oh, it's my turn. I can't do that. I have to do this one. Alright, that's rough, but I think it's worth doing. They would need some sort of 0 mana spell or like ritual, like Manamorphose or something to get this thing flipped. Getting me with the 1 of Days, serious business. They have like a Lightning Helix. I'm not gonna lie, this is super exciting. No matter what happens, playing against this lottery deck is a lot of fun. Fire, okay. That is a better card than Lightning Helix, probably. Certainly very good here. Okay, so now we're in a position where I could brainstorm using my black mana. Okay, I figured it out. So if we brainstorm using the black mana, if we find Fatal Push, we can fetch another Underground Sea and just cast it. If we don't find Fatal Push, we can fetch with Scalding Tarn and just Bolt Bolt. Definitely prefer to find a Fatal Push. And instead we got nothing at all. Alright, so I can just hold my horses on these bolts, because they won't be able to Force of Negation on their turn, and if they want to hold up soft permission, it's going to be harder to flip this thing. And then if the plan fails, we can still ponder looking for Fatal Push on the next turn. Definitely feel like if we get through this thing in the ice, we're going to be okay, though. So now it's in kind of an awkward dance, where if they try to flip it, I get to Bolt Bolt, but if they just sit on it, then any instant counters my bolts moving forward. It's possible I should have responded to this trigger being removed off the chart, of course. But I suspect they'll go for it if they draw a 1 mana spell. I would. Alright. Proven wrong. Alright, so now we're in the awkward situation. I guess if I fetch bad lands, then I have it covered either way. I can still ponder and find Fatal Push or Bolt Bolt. Alright, we found the Fatal Push. So now we can Fatal Push and Bolt Bolt. Alright, I think once we clear this thing, we're gonna be alright. That's a pain in the ass. Yeah, so Lutri says non-land card, so you can play 4 Wastelands in your Lutri deck, even though it feels kind of cheaty. Yikes. Alright, so I'm going to let that resolve, because if Thing in the Ice flips, it'll take the Mentor back. Well played. Alright, so now Mentor is going to make a token. It's going to flip. I'm going to let it flip. And then I'm going to Fatal Push it. Alright, that worked out pretty well. Whoops. Though now we know they have a Mentor in hand. That'll go well with our double bolt here. They top bottomed with Preordain. We're drawing Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is a pretty good card. I basically want to save Lurrus until the last possible second to cast that card. Like, I want us both to be just sitting in the dust and then play it. That's the ideal situation. But if I just have nothing else going on, I will totally jam it. We're drawing One Mind next turn. Teferi, yikes. Alright, so Teferi's going to get to bounce Dreadhorde Arcanist, if they even care. Alright, they don't care, because with Teferi in play, you can't Arcanist. Oh, alright. That's pretty good too. So now we're facing down Teferi and Mentor. Okay, everything I said about Lurrus is incorrect now. I'm going to have to play it just to get some action going. So I should save my bolts for the Mentors. Force of Negation on this would be kind of brutal. But then they're Hellbent. They just have like Mentor and whatever they draw for the turn. And Lutri. Alright, so pitching the Royal Scions, oh my god. Alright, so that's gone. But their card in hand is Mentor. So we know that they can't answer Lurrus with what's in their hand. They might not need to. We'll see. Oh, Jesus. If they just shred me off red here. Alright, they've drawn very well. If we draw a red source, we're still just fine, though. Wow, this has fallen apart quickly. Ugh. Alright, now we're almost certainly dead. I mean, we're still a red source away from being alright here, for now. But if they get even, like, 1 or 2 monks, we're going to be way behind. So if they draw a 1-mana spell like Brainstorm... Okay. So here they're just spewing into the graveyard in order to get some monks. So they're going to copy this with Lutri, it looks like. Just to get a 3-2 on board. Copying this doesn't count as casting a spell, so they're not going to get a second monk. And they're basically just going to mill 4. Alright, they changed their mind. They're just going to mill 2. Alright, their brainstorm is gone. Copy target instant or sorcery you control. Alright, good. Come on, red source. Awkward. We're getting punished by these of one minds. Alright, so now they're just jamming the Lutri for extra damage. Or not. I would definitely have cast that card there. Like, giving me too much time is the only way they're going to lose this game. Once you have Monastery Mentor in play, you should be killing your opponent. Oh my god. Alright, did they draw a counterspell? Is there one card in their hand in their Highlander deck counterspell? It's not. Alright. So you're saying there's a chance. So we're going to take at least 4. This thing still has prowess, unfortunately. Brazen Borrower. Okay, that's a good draw. They could even attack with for 4 and bounce the Brazen Borrower, so they still have Petty Theft in hand for my Lurrus. I guess they don't need to do that. They could just bounce Lurrus after I cast it. Alright, they changed their mind. They agreed with my first questionable play. Monastery Swift Spear. That must have been the draw off to Fairy, or else it would have just been in play already. Alright, so that was an excellent draw. Their one card in hand is Brazen Borrower. So if I cast Young Peasy, and then Lightning Bolt, Monastery Swift Spear, we'll see if they respond with Petty Theft, or if they are going to let me up on One Mind as well. Because if they Petty Theft in response, then they can't put their 3-1 into play. I think they actually should just let me have this. As weird as it feels. Like, they should be putting pressure into play. Just have your 3-1 beating down. That's what they're thinking about right now. Whether having a 3-1 flyer in play is better than denying me a potential string of 1-1s. It looks like, I guess maybe they haven't made their choice. Nice. They made their choice. Finally, our mind. Our glorious mind. Now they're like, oh shit, should have bounced it. So we need to find an answer to a 3-1 flyer. Alright, that's an answer to a 3-1 flyer. Force of Will is dead. We're going to 2 on this attack. Presumably they have all of the burn spells available. Like, we haven't seen a Bolt out of them yet. They probably have, like, Chain Lightning in this deck. Oh wait, we have seen Bolt, never mind. They've already cast Bolt, they've already cast Fire. They probably, like I said, they probably have Chain Lightning and similar things in the deck. Okay, what is this? Oh no. A 10-3 creature. Yikes. Alright, does this have... Alright, it doesn't have trample or flying or anything. But we do need to find an answer. Alright, we have every counterspell in the deck now. That's nice, facing down to Fairy. Alright, so it's got to survive a little longer here. So basically what we got to do here is survive these next few combat steps and clear to Fairy to turn on our Force of Negation. If we can have Force of Negation up for a potential burn spell, I'm actually going to feel okay. Oh no. I hate when they tap red mana. Bedlam Reveler, shit. We're so dead. Yeah, we needed them not to refill. Just like finding a land there would have been pretty great. Path to Exile, targeting that, and then I'm dead. Okay. So they had a really good couple turns early on there that were able to bury us. So this is kind of a slow matchup. I like Bitter Blossom. I don't like Force of Negation or Force of Will that much. Crater Maker can kill Brazen Borrower and such. Well, I want some number of our Pyroblasts. They could have anything. They might even have Meddling Mage, so I'll diversify that a little bit. We have a lot of answers to Monastery Mentor, so Force of Will, just all of them seem pretty bad. And I have one more spot. Probably want Engineered Explosives in case I need to clear out an army of monks. Or elementals, because they almost certainly have Young Pyromancer in their deck as well. So anything that's not quite as good. I mean, Up One Mind was awkward, but right at the end there, if they hadn't drawn a reload of their own, the Up One Minds would have taken over. So I want to leave them in just for science. I think this looks pretty good, though. I've changed my mind and think I do want... Oh, I wonder if that's saved. I don't know. I think I did want Crater Maker over one of the Of One Minds, but it didn't go. Alright, that's fine. We'll do it in game 3. Alright, this hand is great. Got a Strix, a Young Pyromancer. We can get our basic Swamp, and we already have basic Island, so we're not going to get Wastelanded out of the game again. Their double Wasteland won them that game. If we could have just casted our spells, it wouldn't have been close, but that's how Wasteland decks work. My opponent said they're a fan of the podcast. Appreciate it. Alright, yeah, our hand is great, though. Yeah, my opponent is talking in the chat about how their punt with Mentor and Thing in the Ice, and I only caught that so quickly because I played a lot of Is It Phoenix and Modern, and when, like, you do a bunch of work to get 3 Phoenixes back into play, but then you have Thing in the Ice on 1 counter, and it's just like, well, shit, now if I cast a spell, I don't have any Phoenixes anymore. Okay, so do I play around 1 Stifle? A potential 1 of Stifle? I don't think so. Oh, I don't have a basic mountain in this deck. That makes sense because of Blood Moon. But here's Baleful Strix. Now they could have a 1 of Spell Snare. I don't think they would daze this. Ooh, the 1 of Pyroblast. Alright, well there's Pyroblast and Red Blast, so both of those. You do get 2 of those in a Lutri deck. Ooh, Plateau, welcome to Legacy playability. Young Peasy. Alright, do we play around the Daze team? So, if they have Daze, I think I should Brainstorm here. I have a bunch of Bolts and Fatal Pushes in this deck. Hawk. Alright, so we'll see where this goes. But now I can protect my Kolaghan's next turn with a Pyroblast, if they do have a counterspell. Maybe I should have played Young Pyromancer there. Unclear. Alright, now we're going to do a little dance around this Young Peasy. Dreadhorde Arcanist. That's a good card. It resolves begrudgingly. Alright, so now the question is, do I want another land or not? I don't think so. I have a lot of them. Though if I take a draw, I can't get stifled. I guess if I get stifled, then I just have a land anyway. Alright. I talk myself into it. Alright, we drew a land anyway. Alright, so return target creature from your graveyard and 2 to any target. So Baleful Strix and Young Peasy. Wow, that just happened. That's pretty cool. Get to save our counterspell for something else. Maybe protect the Strix next turn. Or protect Young Peasy. So they don't currently have anything in the graveyard to trigger Arcanist. I mean, they could Pyroblast their own land if they really wanted to, but I doubt it. If they do have one of their cantrips, like 1 Ponder, 1 Preordain, 1 Brainstorm, they could like Brainstorm, find a land, attack, recast Brainstorm, and copy it with Lutri. That's pretty sick. Though I'm pretty set up to beat Wastelands this game. Like I have my 2 basics and extra lands laying around. Monastery Mentor. Yikes. I am not well prepared for that one. So they might Pyroblast here to get a monk. Alright, I would have. Unless that's doing something in their graveyard. They probably have a Snapcaster Mage, I guess. We've seen Bedlam Reveler. Alright, so I'm going to lead on Strix in case I draw a removal spell. Alright, I gotta know what I'm doing. Young Pyromancer. I don't need another one of those. Alright, yeah, we're looking for a Fatal Push or Lightning Bolt off this Mishra's Bauble. Alright, Kolaghan's Command. Not the worst. Wow. Oh, they have Pyroblast. Duh. That's pretty good. I forgot that this was a blue card briefly. I was still always going to cast it. Like, there's no world where you don't cast your spell there. And now they look very smart for not doing it last turn just to get the monk. Makes sense. Blue blockers. These Pyroblasts, the red blasts, have not been good. Like, last game we saw Teferi and Brazen Borrower, and the Lutri is looming, but they've been just killing us with red and white cards. You wouldn't be able to tell this is a deck full of one-ofs from the threats they've deployed in the 2 games, though. Alright, I definitely needed more lands here. That was a great draw. Alright, so I'm going to have to get on board. There's Young Pyromancer. So we'll see how this goes. I think I should have fetched first. Abrade. Alright. I will respond. Alright, so now I have like a crazy decision to make here. I could Kolaghan's Command the Mentor, and I get blown out by any instant. Or I could Kolaghan's Command the Monk, but I don't think we're winning a game where this Mentor's in play anyway. Alright, let's just hope they have nothing at all. Alright, fortune favors the bold. Alright, we're still in a tough spot here. So they're attacking for 3. 1 spell makes it 5, 2 spells makes it 7. Though if they had a 1 mana instant, they would have cast it there for sure. Unless it was Plow or Path, then they wouldn't have. Alright, I'll offer this trade. If they cast a spell, it's an eat instead of a trade. But I have to try to get some value out of this elemental where I can. Boros Charm, holy shit. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm at 2. Yikes. So if they have Boros Charm, they definitely have Lightning Helix. Of One Mind arrived right on time here. Oh, shit. So I have to fetch to go to 1 to cast Lurrus. Wait, is that a mountain? There is a basic mountain in this deck. Who knew? Oh, I was fetching with blue to Delta, that's why it didn't show up earlier. Lessons learned. They showed me light up the stage. That's a scary one. Alright, so Path to Exile kills me. Swords to Plowshares gives me another turn. Wow, Bitter Blossom's a great draw when I'm at 1. we have Red Blast for something. We'll see what for specifically. We're dead to any burn spell. Except Psionic Blast. I'm ready for that. Alright, let's see what happens. If they attack with everything, I just block Lurrus to Dreadhorde Arcanist and Strix to Monk. If they make that attack, if they kill their own blocker or my Lurrus before lifelink, I'm dead. So, assuming nobody has anything, I'm stable. Assuming they have anything, I'm dead. We know one of their cards is not helpful here. At least not immediately. If they make their attacks, then cast a blue spell, cast a blue spell. Jam Teferi, please. Rest in peace. Shit. That makes Lurrus pretty bad. And now if they just attack with their 2 monks, I lose Lurrus. I guess it doesn't matter. Being a 3/2 lifelink is all it is at this point. Huh. I think attacking with Dreadhorde Arcanist might have been a mistake here. Unless they have another spell. Because they had a forced blocks with the monks, so I would have lost my Lurrus instead of keeping it. So now I have a 3/2 lifelink that I probably shouldn't have. Yeah, they also mistap, so they can't light up the stage. My opponent is deeply concerned about punting in front of the YouTube audience. Don't worry about it, I do it all the time. That's what this channel is for. Alright, so if I Lightning Bolt the monk, then I can get in and go to 5. And I can play Bitter Blossom kind of safely. So, Bolt here. Attack. Alright, now we're Lurrusing. So I can of One Mind and still Bitter Blossom with a Pyroblast up. Okay, so I could save this Engineered Explosives to try to kill Rest in Peace and get Lurrus back online, but I think I should just be pressing this advantage. Sulfuric Vortex, Jesus Christ. Well, I'm not casting Bitter Blossom now. But if I Engineered Explosives for 3, then I also don't. Ugh, alright. I also kill Lurrus. Wow. Alright, so the race is on. I do have an answer to this. Unfortunately, it kills my only threat. Alright, Young Pyromancer. So now I have a threat again. Okay, so blue, black, red. Alright, Explosives for 3 is in. Attack. Cast Young P. And then I pass the turn because I want to get the 2 damage in on them from Sulfuric Vortex. Still dead to any bolt. Hopefully this is just light up the stage. Alright, cool. Alright, land Spell Snare. Alright, see you later, Lurrus. I loved you. Alright, so Spell Snare is floating over there. I want to make sure not to play into it, like so. Though, I've been sitting on these red blasts so long. Maybe I'll force that. Force that action, I should say. Not force of will, obviously. Alright, I just want to ponder my face off here. Alright, Fatal Push. I'm going to want that eventually. So if I play the Strix, I can Red Blast. Wow, they didn't Spell Snare. That's lucky. Alright, so now I'll just get my beats in. Alright, so we're worried about a lightning bolt, basically. Alright, so do they have a... Alright, this is not Plower Path. Vapor Snag, huh? Finally, a target for this fucking card. Guess that's why they didn't Spell Snare. Alright, so we just gotta get this game over, because if they're basically just drawing to a lightning bolt at this point and we lose. Or a True Name Nemesis. Alright. So those Red Blasts rotted for a long time, but eventually they did do something. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can get 8 damage on the board. I think it's better to hold this Brainstorm, since it's not lethal anyway. And it might find a Lightning Bolt now. Alright, it found a Lightning Bolt. Good news, everybody. Alright, so both of these creatures are bad versus Rest in Peace, but I'll put this one on the bottom. Or on top. Because it doesn't... The Snapcaster can arrive as a surprise at least, so I'll take that. I'm going to bobble them just to see another card in their deck. I want to know what I'm up against. Alright, Path to Exile. And Bolt. Alright, got through that one. Alright, so Crater Maker. Pretty sure I want that back. Or that one in the... Alright, so... The Red Blasts, they showed my True Name Nemesis. We've seen Teferi. Like, there's a lot of good targets for the Red Blasts. But I think Crater Maker will be better than something. I wonder if it is of One Mind or if it's one of the Red Blasts. In Brazen Borrower, we saw there's probably Delver in this deck. The answers to resolve True Name Nemesis are basically just Engineered Explosives. And they showed me Rest in Peace also. That's rough. Alright, but they can only have one, so that's good to know. I think I might want less of this. Actually, I'm going to put the Pyroblast in over the Red Elemental Blast, because if they play a Meddling Mage, I don't think they're going to name Red Pyroblast. I think they're going to name Lurrus. And with a deck full of Young Pyromancers that I desperately want to turn on because of One Mind, being able to cast Pyroblast just for funsies is kind of important. And now with Crater Maker, I have every answer to Mentor that I play available. Maybe I want the Flusterstorms to fight on their burn axis a little more. Because the Red Blasts don't stop Lightning Bolt, just like being at 3 against this deck that's probably playing every bolt that's defensible. And I do think Bitter Blossom would have been good if I wasn't already at 1 and they didn't immediately draw Sulfuric Vortex. So yeah, I think this is fine. Maybe I want 1 Force of Will just to have in my hand when I'm ready to shut the game down. It's like winning a fight over Mentor or True Name, because they don't play that many or great threats because they can only have 1 of each. Alright. I made that decision really quickly because I was running out of time in sideboarding. I'm not sure if it was right, but I ended up cutting Dreadhorde Arcanist because we saw Rest in Peace. I'm not sure about that because they only have the 1, but if they find that 1, it's going to be really good. Alright, so this hand, I have my 1 of Wasteland, a removal spell, and 2 uncastable Pyroblast, but I have 2 redraws. I'm going to keep this. We haven't shown them a Wasteland yet, so maybe they'll just fetch a non-basic here and get blown. Oh, Jesus, but they had the turn 1 Delver. Alright, so I am totally gonna waste their land. Because I have the Delver covered with this Fatal Push. I want to see what you're up to. You're drawing Plateau. That is a mediocre land, and it means that Delver's not going to flip. Alright, so Wasteland. Bang. Alright, you can't Daze with Plateau either. And I'm going to hold on to the Bauble because I don't want Force of Will right now, and that's the only reason I would want to draw all my cards immediately. So now I can see an extra card by waiting. Let's hope they just play that Plateau and not a blue land. Alright, cool. Alright, show me your secrets. Alright, they're drawing Volcanic Island next. Ooh, I need some lands. This is getting dicey. So I could Fatal Push Delver, so I will. I'm in a ton of trouble if they Wasteland me here. Like, I could have spent a turn casting Ponder to try to find another land, which is probably a pretty reasonable play. Shit. Alright. So, if we draw a land right now, we'll be alright. If we don't, it's gonna get weird. Shit. It's now weird. Maybe knowing that Delver wasn't going to flip, I should have taken the time to ponder, but then, I don't know. That's just one of those tough calls. Yuck. Alright, so I'm discarding Bitter Blossom because I can Lurrus it back later if I want it, but it's very far away from being cast. I don't know if they just have like True Name here. Savine's Reclamation for Delver. Alright, that's not so bad, honestly. On like the list of things that could have been bad. Alright, well, bricking on this land forever is bad news. Oh, they have the Wasteland ready. Snapcaster Chart, of course. That's just straight up draw 2. That's really good. We are pretty much dead here, but we can see what happens. There's probably like one more draw step where we could conceivably produce a land and maybe play the game. Alright, I've had enough. GG's. Alright, so that was unfortunate at the end. As we saw, the Ponder would not have even found a land, but then we would have been able to shuffle, so that's one of the decisions you have to make in these Legacy Blue decks of cantrip to set up for next turn versus making the efficient clean play this turn. And I think I would make the play that I made every time, but that was pretty unfortunate that we didn't get there. There's 19 lands in this deck. Yeah, I think we were... I would continue to make that play if given the same option again. Oh well, didn't work out that time. Right, we're on the draw again, revealing our Lurrus. Our opponent does not have a companion. This hand is a mulligan for sure. Jesus. Is this my life today? Alright, I get to keep 4 of these cards. 1, 2, 3. That's ugly. It's real bad. Oh, and we're playing against Reanimator. Alright, so maybe if I had kept all the forces, but no way to know that. So what Legacy decks would not have a companion at this point? It's basically just like Show and Tell, Reanimator. Some sort of like non-storm combo deck. Or Dredge, I guess. So we should have known it was something busted. So maybe I should have kept one of the forces. I guess we'll see what they got. They're certainly taking their time thinking about it for a Reanimator player that kept 7. They might be double queuing. Alright, there's Lotus Petal. So some of the earlier builds of these Lurrus decks had a bunch of Caracases in them, just for fun. Or, like, they didn't cast spells, but they bounced legends. It looks like we're facing down a Chancellor here. Yeah, so they have a turn 1 Chancellor and nothing else. Can I beat this? I need to get Baleful Strix into play. Oh, but all my spells are going to cost way more. So I think I'm going to bolt just to break. So there's the original Chalice reveal trigger plus the Chancellor reveal trigger plus the Chancellor itself. So my first spell will cost 2 more, and subsequent spells will cost 1 more. So basically what I need to do is pop the first one with my Lightning Bolt, and then I can pay 2 for Ponder, and then if I find Baleful Strix, I can play it for 3, and then we're stable. But we got to do all that pretty quickly. Alright, so that clears the reveal trigger. And then we can ponder and pay. for Baleful Strix. None of these are Strix, so they get shuffled. Alright, that costs 1. It's another redraw. With my fetch land also, it's a functional scry. So I'm going to be at 10 after this attack. I'll do what I'm going to do next turn, and then I'll be at 5. So I have to find Strix in the next 2 draw steps. Alright, so look at myself. Lightning Bolt is not what I want, so I'll shuffle that. Alright, if the top 2 cards in my deck, if either one is Baleful Strix, we can still do this, otherwise I am slain. Alright, brick number 1. And Force Will. Alright, we're done. Okay, so now that we know what we're up against, pile on these hateful spells. I wish this list had Thoughtseizes in it, and this list is clearly tuned to beat the Delver variant and not tuned for like a super open meta, or else some of these fatal pushes could be Thoughtseizes. But that is what it is. So of One Mind, we're not going to have a whole lot of time to be doing that. But we don't want to make our blue count too low because we do have 6 forces to support. I think Mishra's Bauble can get cut because we're not going to be setting up like a Lurrus engine in this particular matchup. Oh, Fatal Push is much worse than all of those cards. Alright, so Fatal Push doesn't do anything. Lightning Bolt can pressure the face. Baleful Strix, one of the better cards. It's my Bauble, and I'll bring in another of One Mind just to support my blue count. Bitter Blossom could hold off a Griselbrand for a long time, but if it chumps Griselbrand even once, then it's just like we're definitely gonna die before we kill them. It does slow down a Chancellor a lot too, but it doesn't remove it, so it's not like we can land the Lurrus and connect. Alright, I shouldn't be planning for a game where they have a monster in play, because that's a losing game. Okay, let's submit this. That's a mulligan. So I guess it's just like, do I think Baleful Strix can be good enough to win a game here? I'm going to keep this and bottom a Bolt, even though that might be bad. Like, even if they unmask me, I have double Strix. I guess we'll see. And they kept 7 again, so we're probably just dead. Though the 7 they kept last game would definitely lose to this hand. Alright, they're just going to clean up the old-fashioned way. It's Elish Norn. Alright, that one is pretty fucking good against what I was planning here. So we need a counterspell now. Alright, we found a force. Lightning Bolt, not going to be helpful. And So I can put this land back. Unfortunately, the land I had was not blue, it was Badlands, or else I could have hid the force and brainstormed into it. But if they go like unmask plus reanimate here, then we could be dead. Hopefully they just like cast reanimate. But the way that this game has gone so far makes me think that they might just have a handful of reanimation spells. And if they're just like, over the next couple of turns, just like reanimate, force of will, exhume, dead. So I need to get this Elish Norn out of the graveyard. Or find another way to fight over it. So I actually think I want to draw the land that's on top of my deck, and then I can brainstorm. Or no, I'll shuffle that away and brainstorm. I do want another land, but I need to also get my hand more solid here. That was weird. They just lootinged away a reanimate. So they're definitely sculpting here. Alright, I've decided to shuffle this away. Alright, we drew a lightning bolt. Great. Just what I was looking for. Okay, so lightning bolt can go. Underground Sea can go. I think I want Underground Sea because that casts my counter spells and my discard spells if I find either. I was really interested in a Nile Spellbomb. They're drawing Bloodstained Mire. That probably sucks for me. Alright, that was a great draw. That's why I bobbled on my turn, because I wanted the card in my hand for this turn. Xantid Swarm. Good thing I shuffled away all those lightning bolts. I think I have to force this. Yeah, definitely do. Yeah, that's brutal. Maybe I should have... Well, now that I know that they have Xantid Swarm, I'll think about that for game 3. But if one of these Strixes was just Lightning Bolt instead, which I had many opportunities to do, that would have been so much better for me. Alright, so... now I'll start developing with the Strix. They're at a point where if they just go like land, reanimate, Flusterstorm doesn't even do it. And Flusterstorm can't hit Animate Dead anyway. Alright, looks like we're getting another draw step. That was a good one to find. Right when I needed you, Force of Will. Okay, so now I'm going to play Young Pyromancer, because now I have Flusterstorm plus Force Blue card, and that'll put a bunch of pressure on the board. Alright, we're starting to thread this needle, and I like it. Maybe I should pitch Strix instead of One Mind, because drawing 2, like when Elish Norn is the looming threat, we gotta clear this graveyard with Nile Spellbomb. And I already have a Strix in play if they put some non-Elish Norn threat into play. Exhume. So I can force that, or I can fluster it. But Flusterstorm doesn't actually counter it. It does tap them out for the turn, though. I'm worried about the So my concern is if I force the Exhume, then they cast Animate Dead and I lose on the spot. So maybe I fluster here to tap them out and see what they want to do about that. So if they pay for it, then I can force it. If they don't pay for it, then, I don't know. Then we still have force in hand. I'm not sure if this is a winning line, but I'm not sure if we have a winning line. Like, obviously, if their hand is just nothing, this is going to look really foolish, but if their hand is anything, it's fine. Alright, let's see if Of One Mind can take over this game. You need to find one of those spell bombs. There's the lightning bolt right on time. Cabal Therapy is also insane here because I have Young Pyromancer. Uh-oh. Oh, don't leave me hanging, opponent. I'm sweating this brainstorm so hard right now. I'm definitely most interested in Nile Spellbomb of all the cards I could draw. Uh-oh. So they're drawing Grizzlebrand. That's a brick. But if they have any other reanimation spell in hand, I'm dead. I don't even think there's a draw I can draw here that stops any reanimation spell. Because this isn't blue. So if we draw a force, it's not good enough. We just have to hope they have nothing. But they did a lot of sculpting to have nothing. Yeah, there it is. Alright. We're dead. I didn't bring in the engineered explosives, so I can't even clear that. Can't up Brazen Borrower, obviously. Alright. Got beat by Reanimator. Alright, this is not going well so far. Our busted Lurrus deck has lost to two non-Lurrus decks. One deck without a companion at all. Ooh. We'll see if we can rally from here. Alright, we're on the draw again. Alright, our first Lurrus mirror. Let's see how this goes. So this hand is kind of a mess. If they're Lurrus Delver, having two bolts could be pretty good, but the force and 4 lands is really bad. If they're Lurrus Miracles, our whole hand is bad. If they're Storm, all of this is bad. The force is good, but we don't have a blue card to go with it. If they're the Mirror, this hand is bad. So this hand is just bad enough. Oh my god. Alright. We've come this far. I think the Wasteland and the K command should go. So we'll see what flavor of Lurrus they are. Scalding Tarn, that could be literally any Lurrus deck. Underground Sea. So they're Storm or Delver or Midrange. That could still be Storm, Delver, or Midrange. Alright, they shuffled. Sweet. Alright, so I could have basic island here to ponder with. But I think saving the fetch land to use with this brainstorm is going to be a much happier plan. Sprite Dragon. Alright, so they are some sort of aggressive Grixis Lurrus deck. Maybe that first 7 with 2 lightning bolts would have been great. Let's hope they were shuffling that ponder, looking for a land, and they missed. They're just like, go here. That would be great. Alright, Wasteland is not Sprite Dragon. Oh, Delver is pretty good. Alright, they managed to use all of their mana, even if they did not cast Sprite Dragon. The aggressive brainstorm to flip Delver play. So when an opponent makes a play like this, it tells you that their deck is trying to get over the finish line. Like a mid-range deck wouldn't do that. If their hand needed a lot of help, they probably wouldn't do that either. Wow. Is their hand just all creatures? Or it was just a questionable decision. So their hand must literally be all creatures. They didn't play a land, and they didn't flip Delver, even after brainstorming. So they just mono creatures, and their next 2 draws are also creatures. I think I have to get the Volcanic Island here. As much as I don't want to get blown out by Wasteland, though it would be some like high-level stuff to slow roll the Wasteland when they are missing a land drop entirely. So I guess we'll see what happens here. A Force of Negation. That's pretty good. That's really weird. Why didn't Delver flip if that was in your hand? Maybe they misplayed the brainstorm somehow? Huh. Or they just accidentally misclicked no on Delver. Okay, so something weird just happened. I was either masterfully baited, or they just misclicked on revealing Delver last turn. And the fact it was Force of Negation that countered my bolt means I can't even snap it. So I could Snapcaster Ponder here. I think I want to do that. That uses my mana the best. It puts a human into play. They can't cast K Command next turn anyway. They've missed a bunch of land drops. Wow, Force of Will. That's pretty aggressive. But okay. Force Pitching Ponder. Yeah, they're really trying to get over the finish line here. I'm going to save my Brainstorm for next turn, because I can't do anything. I don't have a land drop. Just hold on to my horses there. Another Force of Negation. Alright, so I basically need to Brainstorm into Fatal Push Lightning Bolt here. This I could also just shove Lurrus. And having Lifelink counteracts one of the Delver activation, or one of the Delver attacks every turn. I guess I can't cast Lurrus. Oh, that was bad. It black. Whoops. I should not have played my land there. Yeah, now I'm super punished for it. Okay, so put back Of One Mind and the land. Alright, so they can't Force of Negation this one. Yeah, I got so excited to jam Lurrus that I just didn't think about the fact that it's a black card. Alright, so we are close to dead here. We have to answer both Delvers next turn through a potential Force of Negation. Yeah, this Brainstorm is going to have to be just a miracle. Alright, now they've found Brainstorm, so they're probably getting rid of the K command and just making sure they have a blue card to go with Force of Negation. That was so bad. If I had Brainstorm first last turn, Lurrus would be in play, and I'd have Bobbled, and I'd be a card deeper, and I'd be just stable on this board instead of about to die. Now look at your mana, make sure it actually casts your spells. Important lessons. I'm sure you're glad you tuned in for that one. I guess if they found Lightning Bolt, I'm just dead, regardless here. Alright, so what can I muster? We knew about that one, unfortunately. Need 2 removal spells. Alright, so Of One Mind and Force of Will can go away. Unfortunately, if I fetch, I die to Kolaghan's command. But if I don't, I die to Delver. So, here we go. I have to go on past to their turn. Let's see. Alright, they took their draw step. Fuck, now I'm just dead to Kolaghan's command. I guess maybe not. I don't know. I guess we'll see if that's the card they kept. Oh, now they have Force of Negation up. Yeah, I needed to do that in their upkeep. I just punted that. I was playing around K command and forgot about. That was a poorly played game. Don't do anything I just did. Yeah, I needed to do that in their upkeep before they were holding up mana. Alright. I somehow threaded the needle and then just threw it in the trash. Alright, Force of Negation, not a good card. I want my Pyroblast. Goblin Crater Maker's great. Internet Explosives can clear out a bunch of small things. Bitter Blossom, probably not what I want. It's great if you have it on turn 2. It'll save you a ton of life and eventually take over the game, but if you draw it like in the mid game, like we saw again in that Lutri match where I just drew it at 1 life already, that's not what you want. Alright, this is my plan. Yeah, that was rough. I definitely just was so focused on the Kolaghan's command, I forgot about just hard casting the Force of Negation. I'm pretty sure if I had upkeeped the Force K command, I would have won that game. Or at least been stable for a little bit. Yeah, these matches are extremely skill intensive, and mistakes like that do end up costing. Alright, so I'm going to mulligan this because it doesn't do anything. Alright, this one's much better. I got basic lands. I'm going to send the Mishra's Bauble to the bottom because I have 3 basics to function on here. I don't want to throw that away. It's possible I should have pondered first, but I want to know what I'm up against. Like, is it a Delver draw? Is it a Arcanist, Sprite Dragon? Alright, so is this Delver or is it Ponder? Alright, it's Ponder. So I'm going to ponder this turn off of a basic. They did not shuffle. So I could ponder off a basic, or I could save this shuffle. Could just get Crater Maker into play. I'll try that. If they daze me, it'll set them back a bit. And if they were like setting up a Delver play, then this blanks it. If they're still sculpting and just have nothing, I can start attacking. They could bolt this, but that's a bolt that's not going face later. Yeah, I was okay running that out. Like, I liked having the option to shuffle if that stuck around, but if it didn't stick around, just being on the play puts you ahead of Wasteland. Wow, even just drew the basic. So I get to keep my shuffle and play around Wasteland. Alright, that's a shuffle. Nice. That now paid off for keeping the Scalding Tarn. So it's actually an interesting question. If they play Sprite Dragon here, do I bolt it or not? Because they've shown me a bunch of force negations and the willingness to just spew cards in exchange for damage. And bolting plays into Daze, but passing the turn plays into force negation. So maybe I'm supposed to bolt on their upkeep so they can't force a negation and they can't Daze. And that plays into Spell Pierce, but we can't beat everything. Alright, Bauble gives me some extra info. I'm going to Bauble them. Thoughtseize. Okay, so I'm going to bolt. Yeah, I'm going to bolt on their upkeep. Well, I know that they're drawing Thoughtseize, so upkeep versus main phase. If they make a land drop, they might have more interaction. But I know they didn't draw a counterspell to fight over the lightning bolt with. Alright, there's Sprite Dragon. Alright, I'm going to let them have that. They're probably going to Thoughtseize here. I'll brainstorm in response. I should have responded to this trigger, just in case there was something different that mattered there. Alright, so they didn't have Force of Will. That's lucky. They're going to take my Force of Will here, which I set up that way because I don't care. So now the question is, do I want to draw one of these young pyromancers in the face of this sprite dragon? I don't think that I do. I think I want to draw a removal spell. Like so. Alright, so I could Lurrus Bauble here. I don't really like playing the first Lurrus. Oh, but if I Lurrus, then I can't. Fatal Push because I don't have enough black. Alright, so I'll just pass the turn. I guess I should do it now, because Force of Negation they can just pay mana for on their turn, and this is at least a 2-for-1. But I guess if they Force of Negation, then also cast Lurrus. Let's just kill that thing. Alright, so they can Lurrus here. If they have a land, they can Lurrus and... Never mind. They can't Lurrus and anything. They can't have True Name Nemesis in their deck. So it's good we don't have to worry about that. Alright, wasted me. Taking me off black is smart, because Lurrus obviously is a black card. As I've discovered to my chagrin multiple times so far in this league. Alright, so Lightning Bolt is my best draw. If I can kill their Lurrus and have my own... Oh my god. Alright, so... I guess... I think I just have to kill their Lurrus right now. And hope that mine sticks around for a turn. Maybe I should have done this upkeep, but again, they can hardcast the Force, so it doesn't matter. Alright. Their Lurrus is cleared. And now we can cast ours. Unfortunately not right now. Again, they've done a good job wasting us off. Double black. If they have another wasteland, then we need to draw land to Lurrus at all. We have Bauble, though, and we have Crater Maker if we draw a land. Of course, they have a counter or removal spell for our Lurrus. There's one. Alright, so Lurrus isn't going to get as much. Alright, so I can slam the Lurrus and at least get a card off Bauble. Or I could try to wait. I don't think it's right to wait. Let's demand answers. Like, I can't answer this thing, so it doesn't really matter. I can at least get a card out of it. Alright, Lurrus is dead. Long live Lurrus. Alright, so I have Kolaghan's commands that can rebuy my Lurrus. I'm not sure if they have anything like that. I'm going to Bauble in their upkeep, because they've already shown me they play Thoughtseize. So I don't want to have cards sitting in my hand where they can take them. Fatal Push. Alright, we both have a removal spell in hand. So this is going to get scrappy. I was just going to say Baleful Strix would be a great draw, and here it is. See if they have a red blast for this. Yeah, alright, so red blast is the only clean answer to Baleful Strix. Like if that had resolved and they fatal pushed it, that would have been so good for me. Unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. Alright. It's gonna get real scrappy. I'm gonna Pyroblast this because I have these lightning bolts for their Delvers. And they can't play True Name Nemesis, so cutting off their options at this phase of the game is a lot more interesting to me. Again, I'm going to bobble in their upkeep. I don't want my shiny new card to get Thought Seized. There it is. Alright, so they're going to take one of my lightning bolts. Basically, saved a life on that exchange. Alright, so Kolaghan's Command is what I'm looking for to really bust this one open. And so they can hardcast Force of Will now. I'm not going to play this land, I'm going to save it for a Brainstorm. That was a weird fetch. Like, what if they draw Brainstorm right now and they don't have a fetch land to shuffle with? Or a Ponder. Yeah, like, you'd much rather have a shuffle available with your cantrips than not. They know about Lightning Bolt, they don't know about Fatal Push. They did not shuffle. They like it. Alright, there's Arcanist. So I'll bolt that now. I'm going to use the card they know about and save the one they don't. Alright, we know about their Fatal Push over there. So I can just try to work through it. I guess doing this now while they have to Fatal Push versus like when they'll have Force of Will up is probably better. I don't play discard spells, so the only way through that is through it. Alright. Nobody knows anything anymore. It's all mystery. Urza's Bauble. Alright. The budget choice. Alright, so now they've seen the Fatal Push. Bummer. There was 50-50 that they just see a land, but instead they saw the removal spell. Maybe that's better. Like if they think I'm sitting on spells over here. Yeah, saving that for a Brainstorm too. This has gotten super grindy and I really like it. I need some cantrips though. They've cast 2 Ponders and a Bauble in this dead zone we've fallen into, and I've done none of that. So they're going to be pulling ahead pretty quick. If I can't muster some selection of my own. They did not shuffle or cast a spell. That's weird. Young Pyromancer, huh? I think I want to save that, because I can't get any value off it right now. Like if I draw a Ponder or they cast a creature and I can just like Young Pyromancer, push your creature, get a token right away, leave some value behind. If I get Thoughtseized, that'll be kind of shitty. Alright, Bitter Blossom. Alright, so the race is on. It's funny that I specifically did not bring in Bitter Blossom, and then they did. So I wonder if they're I wonder what the better line is here. Try to dance around this engineered explosives and clear make them lose life and then clear it out. No, I think it's better to just cast the thing. So if they have Force of Negation, they can hard cast it. Force of Will would cost them a card. Alright, so Force Pitching Force. They did have that. So I can play the Young Pyromancer here. It would suck a lot if it just runs straight into a removal spell. Alright, I think I have to hold on to that. Like, once Bitter Blossom triggers, I'll at least have a guaranteed target for Fatal Push. So I can get something off the Young Peasy if they answer it immediately. Alright, there's a real target. Not that the 1 damage this represents isn't real, but you know what I mean. Okay, so Young Peasy. Young Peasy. They're going to kill the first one. Alright, killing the first one is whatever. So I could just shoot Delver right now. I probably should. I don't want to let them untap and hardcast a Force of Will, if that's the last card in their hand. This gets got by Flusterstorm or Spell Pierce. Okay, it was Lightning Bolt. Alright, so now it's Bitter Blossom versus this Elemental token. If I draw Brainstorm, we can still get frisky here. Like, K-Command Regrowing Lurrus would still break this game open. I still have some Snapcasters in my deck, too. Like, I have some good stuff. Just need to find it. That's not it. Alright, they didn't block. So they're interested in a race, which, I mean, obviously we're in a race, but I agree with their decision there. Like, not blocking was pretty smart. What they say about Bitter Blossom is if you're blocking, you're losing. And my opponent decided to not lose. I'm losing this race by a lot. I need to get something to stem this bleeding a little bit. How many mines? And this is an easy red blast if they have it. Hard casting force. Ugh. I think I would block here. Alright. They agree. Alright, so I take 2, 5, 8. Alright, so if I draw a lightning bolt, I'm actually winning the race against the Bitter Blossom. Do I have any bolts left? Alright, well, they countered it last turn. Let's see if it's good this time. Divination. Busting open the Grixis mirror in Legacy. Oh, the 4th Force of Will? Get out of here. Alright. They have cast all 4, or they cast 3 and pitched 1 of their 4 forces all in the last 2 turns. Or 3 turns. Alright, so I go to 8. Then they go to 4. Then I go to 3. No, then I go to 4. Then they go to 3. Yeah, so Lightning Bolt still wins the Bitter Blossom fight, and they're out of Force of Wills now. 1, 2, 3. There is 1 bolt left in my deck. Alright, Mishra's Bauble. That's something. So I'm going to look at my own deck. Baleful Strix. That's not super helpful. If I fetch, I die to Lightning Bolt out of them. So I could just take the Strix as a redraw. Yeah, let's see. They cast all their bolts. 1, 2, 3. They also have 1 bolt left. Alright, yeah, I'm just going to accept the Strix as a redraw, looking for bolt, because fetching makes me dead to their bolt. Oh, K command, One Mind Lurrus. That 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and they have Seal of Fire in the graveyard. Alright, so I was talking about K command the whole time, and there it is. Alright, well, we're 0-3 with this pile. I'm actually going to call it here. Normally I play out my leagues, but this has not felt great. Of One Mind has been clunky AF. The Delver version of this deck just seems so much better. Like that last game where they drew like Delver when I drew like Of One Mind. This rotted in my hand a lot. I can see the games where it might be good, but taking on a mid-range posture with Lurrus when the 2 of the best decks in the format are Lurrus Control and Lurrus Aggro, or Lurrus Tempo, seems like it might be suboptimal. I've never liked Grixis control decks in general, and in Legacy, like even when it was great, I didn't like it. And I think this could be better if we go deeper into the control end of the pool or deeper into the tempo end. So I'm going to call it, suffer my losses at 0-3. And thanks for watching. We'll see if Lurrus survives another week. Maybe this whole conversation is pointless, but there's Lurrus. Maybe for the last time. Thanks for watching. See you next time.